The year was 3074. Earth was no longer the home it used to be. The sky was always gray, oceans were poisoned, and cities had turned into metal ruins. Most of humanity had escaped into space, looking for a new world to survive. One of them was Jox, an ex-soldier from Earth. He had fought in many wars. He had seen people die, and friends betray him. He had nothing left, no family, no home. Only his small spaceship, and the silence of space. Jx was on a solo mission. He was sent to explore a strange planet called Zarian 9, far away from any human colony. This planet was marked as dangerous in old files. But Jox didn't care. He had nothing to lose. As his ship entered the atmosphere of Zarian 9, a sudden flash of blue light hit the ship. The control panels started to spark. Alarms screamed in his ears. Warning. Energy wave detected. Before he could respond, the ship began to fall. The engines failed. Jox gritted his teeth and pulled hard on the controls. Come on, don't die on me now. But it was too late. The ship crashed through the thick jungle trees, metal scraping and fire blazing. It finally stopped after hitting a rock hill. Smoke filled the cockpit. Jox coughed and kicked the broken door open. He fell out, breathing hard. His arm was bleeding, but he was alive. He looked around. Strange glowing plants covered the jungle floor. Tall trees reached the sky, and he could hear the sound of unknown animals in the distance. Everything was alien. Everything was dangerous. Jox grabbed his pulse rifle from the wreckage and started moving. He had to find shelter. The night on this planet could be deadly. Hours passed. Jox found a small cave and set up a fire. As he cleaned his wound, he heard something, a soft sound, like footsteps, but faster. Lighter. He stood up, gun ready. Who's there? Silence. Then, out of nowhere, a figure jumped at him. Tall, fast, and strong. The two crashed to the ground, wrestling. His attacker was not human. She was a woman taller than Jox, with deep blue skin, glowing silver eyes, and golden armor made of unknown metal. She moved like lightning. Her hands held sharp blades, and her face showed no fear. Jox pushed her back and aimed his gun. Don't move. But she laughed. A cold, proud laugh. You are weak, Earthman. Jox fired a warning shot near her feet. I won't ask twice. She attacked again. They fought, crashing into trees and rocks. Her strength was incredible, but Jox was trained. He dodged, ducked, and finally managed to stun her with a shock blast. She fell, breathing hard, but not unconscious. Jox quickly locked her wrists with energy cuffs. She lay on the ground, staring at him with burning eyes. You think you've won? She said in perfect English. Jox stepped back, shocked. You can speak my language. The woman didn't answer. She sat up slowly, proud even in defeat. I am Velora, warrior of the Zenthari. I was protecting my land. You crashed into it. Jox looked around. I didn't come here by choice. Something hit my ship. Valera's expression changed. Then we are both in danger. Jox didn't trust her. She was too calm, too dangerous. But she didn't beg, didn't cry. She looked him in the eye, like a soldier, like an equal. Why didn't you kill me? Jox asked. I don't kill for sport, she replied. Only for honor. Jox nodded slowly. He respected that. Still, he couldn't let her go. Looks like you're my prisoner now, he said. Velora smiled. Just a little. You have no idea what you've done, human. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Strange lights flashed in the sky. Something was coming. Jox looked at her, then at the dark jungle around them. Maybe this mission wasn't about survival anymore. Maybe it was about something much bigger. The night was alive, not with peace, but with tension. Dark clouds moved fast over the alien sky of Zarian 9. The wind carried strange whispers, and in a small cave near the wrecked ship, two enemies sat in silence watching each other. Jax couldn't sleep. Not because of the crash, or the jungle sounds outside, but because of her, the alien woman, who now sat with her hands in energy, cliffs glowing faintly in the dark. Vaelora. She was too calm, too sure of herself. She didn't act like a prisoner. She sat with her back straight, eyes closed, breathing slowly, like a warrior meditating before battle. Jax sharpened a metal rod by the fire, but his eyes kept going back to her. She hadn't said a word in hours. Finally, he broke the silence. You didn't try to escape. Why? Velora opened her eyes. They shimmered in the firelight. Because I am not your prisoner, she said softly. Jax raised an eyebrow. Could have fooled me. Velora smiled, slow and dangerous. You caught me because I allowed it. Jox stood up, annoyed. Right, and I crashed my ship on purpose. No, she said calmly. But you were brought here, just like me. He paused. Brought? What do you mean? Valora looked out at the jungle. This planet is alive. It watches. It chooses. Jox didn't like the sound of that. What are you? Valora turned to him. I am Zenthari, born of stars, trained by fire. I protect the portal. He stepped closer. What portal? She stayed silent. JAX took out a small device and scanned her. The scanner showed strange energy signatures in her blood. Not just alien. Something ancient. You're hiding something, he said. Valora met his gaze without fear. There is something buried deep in this world. Something your people must never touch. Jox frowned. I'm not here to steal anything. Yet you carry weapons. You wear armor. And your kind always wants more. That hit hard. Jox thought about the wars he had fought. The cities his people had burned all. In the name of survival. He sat down again, sighing. I didn't choose this life. Valora's voice softened. Neither did I. There was silence again. This time, not cold but heavy. Heavy with shared pain. After some time, Jox asked, what is this? Porto. Valora looked at him, carefully. Then she said something strange. It is a gate between time. Between stars. If opened, it could bring back things that should stay gone. Jox's heart skipped. Like what? Like warlords who consume worlds. She whispered. Like weapons that erase time itself. The fire crackled. Valora continued. My mission was to guard it. Alone. Hidden from the galaxy. But now, the signal is broken. They will come. For me, your people? Jox asked. She nodded slowly. The Zenthari High Guard. If they find me with you, they will kill us both. Suddenly, the cave trembled. Far above, a blue light flashed in the sky for just 1 second. Silent. Quick. Valora stood, even with her hands bound. She looked powerful. They are near. Jox grabbed his rifle. Then we run. But she didn't move. No, we prepare. He looked at her, the way she stood. The calm in her voice. The strength in her eyes. She wasn't afraid to die. She had accepted it. And for the first time, Jox realized he didn't want her to. We can fight them together, he said. Valora tilted her head. You would stand against my own kind. I've fought worse, he said. And maybe. I believe you. She smiled. A real smile this time. Small, but real. Then unlock me, she said, and I will show you the truth. Jox hesitated. Then pressed a button. The cuffs vanished. Valora rubbed her wrists, then looked at him. Now, she said, you are no longer my enemy. You are my choice. Jox raised his eyebrows. Choice? For what? She didn't answer. Outside, something howled in the jungle. Whatever was coming would arrive before dawn. The jungle was no longer silent. It breathed. The trees whispered secrets. The ground trembled. And above them, the sky bled a deep violet glow. Like the eye of something watching from beyond. Jax had never felt fear like this, not in war. Not in space. This was something older, deeper. It felt like the planet itself was awake. He and Valora moved quietly through the thick jungle vines. Her cuffs were gone. She walked freely now, her golden armor catching small sparks of alien moonlight. Every few steps, she would stop, close her eyes, and listen not to the sounds, but to the silence. What are we looking for? Jox whispered. Not what Valora said. Who? Before Jox could ask more, a sharp sound pierced the air, a dry clicking noise, like claws on metal. Valora instantly raised her hand. Don't move. They both froze. From the trees above, something dropped. Not a beast, not a soldier. Something in between. It was tall, hunched with bone-like armor fused to its skin. Its face was covered by a mask made of black stone. It had no eyes, only the sound of its breathing. Heavy, hungry. Shadow beast, Valora whispered. They hunt in silence, born from the portal's breath. Jox slowly raised his weapon, but before he could shoot, the creature turned its head sharply, sniffing the air, and screamed. A chilling, high-pitched sound echoed through the jungle. It wasn't a roar. It was a call to others. More rustling, trees shaking. They're surrounding us, Jox said. Valora drew her twin energy blades, glowing with soft red light. Then we don't run. We burn. The beasts attacked. From the trees, from the ground, from the shadows. Jox fired into the dark, hitting one in the chest. It fell, hissing as its body melted into black dust. Valora moved like lightning. Her blades cut through air and flesh. She didn't just fight, she danced. Each movement perfect. Each strike final. JAX covered her back. He moved less like a soldier, more like a survivor. Focused, sharp, fast. For a few minutes, they held the line. But then one of the beasts grabbed Jox from behind and slammed him into a tree. His weapon flew from his hands. The beast opened its mouth, revealing a second, smaller jaw inside. Before it could bite, Valora screamed and jumped, stabbing both her blades into the creature's neck. Black blood sprayed. The beast fell. Through vines, over rocks, past glowing plants and steaming pools. The beasts followed, but slower now. Wounded, angry. They finally stopped at an old structure half buried in the earth. Stone walls covered in vines. A small doorway pulsing with soft blue light. Jox collapsed near the entrance. What, is this place? Valora touched the stone gently. An outpost of the old ones. Safe for now. The doorway opened with a hum. Inside, it was dry, quiet, and lit by strange floating crystals. Jox sat against the wall, breathing hard. Blood ran down his arm. Valora tore a piece of her own cloak and wrapped it around his wound. He looked at her. You didn't have to stay, he said. You could have escaped during the fight. I know, she said simply. Then why didn't you? She didn't answer right away. She just looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, because you fight for more than yourself. I see that now. For the first time, Jox felt something strange. Not fear, not pain. Something like trust, but before he could speak, a soft beeping sound echoed in the room. Valora turned slowly. A small crystal panel glowed red. Symbols moved across the screen. Centauri symbols. She stared at them in shock. What is it? Jox asked. They found me, she said. Your people? No, she whispered, eyes wide. Not my people. Not anymore. Suddenly, a projection appeared from the crystal. A tall Centauri male in silver armor. His voice was cold, sharp, full of hate. Valora, you were warned. You broke the oath. Now we come for you. And the human. Jox stood up, fists clenched. Let them come. Valora looked at him. She didn't smile, but her eyes said something louder than words. She was not alone anymore. The message ended. Silence filled the outpost. The red glow of the crystal faded, but its words hung heavy in the air. Now we come. For you and the human. Valora stared at the wall, as if she could erase what she had seen. Her breath was steady, but her eyes cold silver were storming. JAX sat nearby, reloading his weapon. That guy in the message. Who was he? Valora didn't answer. Stood. You know him, don't you? She looked at him, slowly. His name is Commander Roll. My former captain, and my blood brother. Jox frowned. Brother, she nodded. Not by birth, by war. We trained together. Fought together. He was the one who sent me here to guard the portal. And now he wants you dead. Valora walked to a corner of the room, placing her blades on a small altar. To the Centauri, betrayal is worse than death. By not killing you, I broke the code. Roll must restore honor. Jox scoffed. By hunting his own sister. This is not family, she said. This is duty. The wind outside changed. Valora stepped outside the outpost. The sky was darker, now clouds spinning unnaturally. Lightning crackled, not in streaks, but in circles. She looked up and whispered something in her native tongue. A prayer, or a goodbye. JAX followed her out. What happens now? She didn't turn. They'll come by air. Drop hunters into the jungle. Centauri elites. They never miss. Jox took a deep breath. We can run. Go west. Find higher ground. Valora finally turned. There is no running. You don't run from the Centauri. You fight. Jox stared at her. Then we fight. Valora stepped closer. You don't understand. You will die. So will you. There was a long pause between them. And then she said something she had never said before. I don't want you to die. Those 6 words hit Jox harder than any bullet. He smiled just a little. Then don't push me away. Let's make a stand. A small smile crossed her lips. You're mad, probably. That night, they prepared. JAX planted mines around the outpost. Crude, but powerful. Valora carved symbols into the ground. Old Centauri battle runes. They glowed when touched. Will this help? Jox asked. She nodded. They won't expect me to use this old magic. Before dawn, the wind went still. Even the creatures of the jungle fell quiet. Then the air cracked. A ship appeared overhead, silent, black, and smooth as glass. From it, 5 figures dropped, like falling stars. Centauri elites. Each one wore silver armor marked with Valora's crest, her former unit. They carried pole spears and energy nets, their faces hidden behind glowing masks. JAX raised his rifle. "We've got company." Valora stood beside him, calm and unblinking. The first elite landed hard, right onto a hidden mine. Boom. Smoke and dirt flew everywhere. One down. The others spread out quickly, forming a circle. One of them spoke in a deep, distorted voice. "Of House Rarl, surrender now. Your death will be quick." Valora stepped forward, blades in hand. "I don't surrender," she said. She charged. The battle was chaos-sharp, fast, brutal. Valora was a storm, spinning between enemies like lightning. Jocks covered her from behind, shooting anything that moved toward her. But they were outnumbered. Outmatched. JAX was knocked back, hit in the ribs with a blast. He coughed blood, but kept shooting. Two elites cornered him. Then a blue spear flew through the air. One elite dropped, lifeless. Valora screamed in rage, charging the last two. Her blades moved like fire, cutting through armor. The final elite stood tall. His mask broke in half. It was Ra Al. He looked at Valora. "Look what you've become," he said, fighting beside the weak, loving a human. Valora didn't speak. She simply pointed her blade at his heart. "I became free." ROL charged. Their blades clashed under the rising alien sun. The battle was over. Smoke rose from the jungle floor. Trees burned in slow blue fire. The air smelled like metal ash. And endings. Raoul lay still, his armor broken, his blood dark and thick on the earth. Valora stood over him, not as a sister, not as a soldier, but as something older, something deeper. JAX leaned against a broken stone, breathing hard, his shirt soaked in blood. He had survived, but barely. Valora walked to him, silent. She touched his shoulder. "You fought like a Zenthari." He smiled through pain. "You mean like a lunatic?" Her eyes softened. She helped him up, and together, they walked into the jungle again. Away from death, towards something unknown. They traveled for hours without words. Finally, Valora stopped at a hidden path between two glowing trees. She moved her hand in a strange circle. The trees responded, bending slowly. A doorway opened in the earth. "Where are we?" Jocks asked. Valora stepped into the tunnel. "Where I was born, but never welcomed." The tunnel led to an ancient chamber, massive and round, carved from glowing black stone. Symbols floated in the air. The air buzzed with quiet energy. "This place," she whispered, "is forbidden to all but one." Jocks looked around. One who Valora touched the center stone, and light filled the chamber. A projection appeared, an image of a woman, tall and glowing, dressed in full ceremonial armor. "That's..." Jocks started. "My mother," Valora said. "Queen Selhara of the Zenthari." The image spoke in a deep voice. "To my daughter Valora, if you are hearing this, it means you survived the betrayal." Jocks watched in shock. The voice continued. "You were born not just as a warrior, but as a bridge between two worlds. But the High Council feared your power, and your heart." Valora's fists clenched. "They sent you to die, but if you lived, you would one day choose your path. Not as a soldier, as a queen." The message faded. Jocks stepped back. "You single quotes read... royalty." Valora turned to him, eyes unreadable. "I never wanted a crown, only purpose. They feared me because I loved peace more than power." Jocks nodded slowly. "That's why Raoul hunted you. You were never just a threat. You were hope." Valora sat down beside the old throne. For the first time, she looked tired. Not weak. Human. "What about you?" she asked. "You carry pain, too. I see it in your eyes." Jocks hesitated. Then, he spoke. "I led a unit once. Earth soldiers. Good men. We were told to take out a rebel base, but it was full of refugees. Women, kids." Valora said nothing. She just listened. "I refused. My team followed orders anyway. Slaughtered them. I tried to stop it. They branded me a traitor. I lost everything." Silence filled the chamber. Two warriors, from two worlds, both betrayed by their own. Finally, Valora said, "We are not so different, Jocks. You chose your soul over your orders. That is why you are here." He looked at her. "Why are we here?" "Really?" Valora walked to the back wall and placed her hand on a final stone. A hidden door opened, revealing a glowing sphere, floating above ancient roots. Jocks felt something pull at him, like time itself stopped breathing. "This," Valora whispered, "is the heart of Zarian. It is alive. It remembers." "What does it want?" To choose, she said. It speaks to those who are true. It gives power, but only to the worthy. Jocks took a step forward. What happens if someone unworthy touches it? They disappear, she said. Forever. He froze. Valora turned to him. You asked what I am. I am not just a warrior. Not just a daughter of a queen. I was chosen by this planet. I am its voice. And now, she said, stepping closer, I must choose. Who stands beside me? Her hand reached out, not to the sphere. To him. Jocks didn't move. Are you asking me to be your soldier? He asked. No, she whispered. I'm asking you to be my equal. It began with a dream. Jocks stood on Earth again. But it wasn't the ruined world he remembered. It was green, whole, alive. He saw a woman in the distance, blue-skinned, silver eyes smiling, reaching for him. Then came the fire, the jungle, the war, the pain. And a single voice whispered in his ear, you can still leave her. Jocks woke up gasping. His side burned, his wound had reopened. He was back in the underground chamber, the heart of Zarian, still glowing faintly in the dark. Vale stood at the entrance, her back to him, staring at the jungle beyond. Did you dream it too? He asked. She didn't turn. The planet speaks to those it trusts. Jocks sat up slowly. What did it say to you? That time is up, she said quietly. They're coming. He stood beside her. In the distance, a massive ship floated, above the trees, black and silent. A warship, not Zenthari, not human. Who are they? He asked. Valera's voice was cold. The ones I was meant to stop. The ones the portal was built to keep out. She looked at him now. This isn't just my fight anymore. If they breach the heart, the galaxy will fall. Jocks picked up his weapon. Then we don't let them. They prepared for war. Not with an army. With courage. Jax set traps along the ridges, linked his last grenades to motion sensors. He turned a broken Zenthari blade into a pulse cannon. Valora wore full battle armor, royal armor. She had never worn it before. Not even when she was part of the elite. Now, it felt right. You look like a queen, Jocks said. She smiled. Then fight like a king. The sky split open. Dropships screamed toward the ground. Not Zenthari, not human. These were hybrids, twisted things, made of flesh and machine. They moved fast. Too fast. Jax fired first. The jungle lit up with explosions. Creatures fell. Others kept charging. Valora fought like fire. Her blades cut through metal, her eyes glowing with fury. But even she was slowing. One creature stabbed her arm. She screamed but didn't stop. Jocks was cornered by two attackers. He shot one, but the other tackled him. It slammed him into the ground and raised a blade. Valora screamed. His name. She threw her weapon directly into the creature's skull. It dropped. Jocks was bleeding badly now. He couldn't stand. Valora knelt beside him, pulling him to cover. He smiled, barely awake. Told you I'd fight like a king. Idiot, she whispered, holding back tears. The heart behind them began to pulse. Faster, stronger. It was reacting to something. Valora turned toward it. The remaining hybrids began to fall back. Then a new figure stepped from the ship, tall. Black armor, no face. It wasn't a soldier. It was a weapon in human form. The last line of death. It walked slowly toward them, straight to the heart. Valora looked at Jocks. You can't fight anymore. Neither can you, he said. She stood, sword in hand, blood running from her side. Watch me. Jocks reached out, grabbed her hand. If you go, you won't come back. Valora looked down at him, and then, quietly, she knelt beside him. You are my heart now, she whispered. If I die, live for me. Jocks gripped her hand tighter. No, we finish this together. He struggled to his feet, shaking, but alive. The black-armored creature moved faster now. Valora stepped forward, but before the creature could strike, the heart of Zarian exploded with light. The entire battlefield froze. Every creature stopped. Even the trees bent in silence. They looked down. The light surrounded Jocks. The heart had chosen, and it had chosen him. He was floating, not in air, not in space, but in memory. Jack stood in a vision, surrounded by light, stars spinning like whispers. Voices echoed around him. Not human, not alien. This one is different. He is broken, but he chose her. The heart of Zarian was speaking, not in words, but in feeling. In truth, it showed him flashes. Earth burning. Valora as a child, crying beneath a tree of light. Himself, refusing to kill. Two warriors, standing against a galaxy. Then, silence. He opened his eyes. The jungle was gone, so was the war. He was lying inside the ancient temple, near the heart. The light was dim, now come, warm. Beside him, Valora sat, eyes closed, breathing steady. She opened them the moment he stirred. You came back, she whispered. I always do, Jox said. She helped him sit up. His body was different now, stronger, lighter, alive in a new way. The heart chose you, she said. It gave you part of itself. You are now linked to this planet. To me, Jox blinked. Why me? She smiled. Because you didn't come to conquer. You came with nothing, and gave everything. Outside, the jungle had changed. It was brighter. Trees bloomed. The sky was clear. The enemy ship was gone, turned to ash. The invaders had vanished when the heart awakened. The war was over. Days passed. The Zenthari returned not as enemies, but as people. Leaders came from the sky. Warriors knelt before Valora. She stood taller now. She didn't need to speak much. The heart had already spoken for her. Jock stood beside her as the tribe rebuilt. He was still an outsider, but not unwanted. Not anymore. One morning, a child approached him with a crown of vines and crystal feathers. The child placed it in his hands and ran away, laughing. Jx turned to Valora, smiling. What's this? She stepped forward. It's tradition, she said. A gift before the joining ceremony. His smile faded into shock. Wait, what? Joining ceremony? Valora raised an eyebrow. You stood against my people. You stood beside me. You carried the heart's touch. You didn't think I'd let you go now, did you? Jox looked around. Zenthari began gathering, forming a circle around the temple. Hold on, he said. I don't even know your customs. You only need to know one thing, she said. She took his hand, placed it over her chest. You are mine, and I am yours. The joining ceremony was unlike anything Jox had ever seen. There were no rings, no priests, no speeches, just two warriors, standing at the edge of a glowing cliff, beneath a twin moon sky. They exchanged blades, not vows. They drank from the heart spring, not wine. And when Valora touched her forehead to his, light passed between them, a bond not of ownership, not of duty, of choice. She turned to the crowd. This is my mate, she said, voice strong, chosen by me, not as a slave, not as a warrior. She looked at Jox, but as my equal, my king. The Zenthari roared in approval. Jax didn't say anything. He just kissed her because nothing else needed to be said. That night, the stars above Zarian 9 were calm for the first time in centuries. No warships, no burning skies, just peace. Rested beside Jox in the temple, her head on his chest. He looked up at the stars, remembering how it all began with a crash, with a fight, with fear, and now, he had something no war ever gave him. A home, a queen, a future. He smiled and whispered, into the night. I came to survive. I stayed to love.